Merriam-Webster defines stress as a state of mental tension and worry caused by problems in one's life and/or work. Symptoms of stress vary, but can be broken down into 4 unique groups: emotional, physical, cognitive, and behavioral, each displaying their own unique signs. According to Mental Health America's 2021 Mind the Workplace report, a survey that collected data from over 5,000 employees across 17 industries in the United States, nearly 83% of respondents felt emotionally drained from their work, with nearly 9 out of 10 of these employees reporting that their workplace stress affects their mental health. Moreover, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found that in a 3-month period, employees with depression miss an average of 4.8 workdays and suffer 11.5 days of reduced productivity. Furthermore, the CDC estimates that depression causes 200 million lost workdays per year, with a cost to employers of $17 to $44 billion. Hi, my name is Dr. Ramirez, and I am a Senior Transformation Specialist for City of Hope. I am here today to talk to you about resilience. More specifically, how to build optimism using 3 of the 14 specialized skills I learned from the United States Army's Master Resilience Training Program. So let's get started. These skills were created in a joint partnership by the Positive Psychology Center at the University of Pennsylvania and the United States Army in 2009, and are partially based on the University of Pennsylvania's Penn Resilience Program. The skills created from this partnership have seen the drastic decrease in depression, stress, and mental health issues, while seeing a profound increase in individual well-being, life satisfaction, optimism, social skills, and trust. So if you're ready, come on in and let's dive into the first skill. What can you do to notice positive experiences in order to enhance your gratitude and positivity? Well, you can hunt the good stuff. The skill Hunt the Good Stuff is an activity where you think about why events go well, what the positive events mean, and how to create circumstances that enable more good things to occur. It also encourages a consciousness of blessings and molds a style of thinking that promotes optimism about the future. Now, the primary objective of this skill is to counter the negativity bias, create positive emotion, and notice and analyze what is good. I bet you're wondering what the negativity bias is. Well, I'll tell you. It's the tendency to pay more attention to the bad rather than the good. Anyway, so when you hunt the good stuff, you find that you improve your overall health, your sleep, and your feeling of calmness. You lower your depression, increase your optimal performance, and even develop better relationships. In short, hunting the good stuff builds optimism and positive emotions, which have been shown to increase creative thinking, undo the psychological effects of negative emotions, and enhance resilience. In a study comparing different positive psychology interventions, participants who recorded 3 good things each night were found to have a significant increase in happiness and experience less depression for up to 6 months following. In addition, increased gratitude was found to promote both interpersonal and intrapersonal well-being, and being grateful may build and strengthen social bonds and friendships. Positive results were not just found in adults. No, children who count their blessings experienced increased school satisfaction, which was found to be related to academic and social success. Any questions so far?
Question: so how exactly do we hunt the good stuff?
What a great question. It's easy. All you do is record 3 good things each day. next to each positive event you list, write at least a one-sentence reflection about the following: why this good thing happened, what this good thing means to you, what you can do to enable more of this good thing, and what ways you or others contribute to this good thing. And by practicing this skill on a regular basis will cause you to think more about and savor the positive experience. It's also important to note that hunting the good stuff can be done either noticing everyday positive experiences or discovering something positive through a setback or problem. Now here is an example of a Hunt the Good Stuff journal. I want you to take 30 seconds to record at least one good thing that happened to you today. For me, I am listing the fact that I slept uninterrupted last night for 8 whole hours. Next, take about 30 seconds to write at least a one-sentence reflection about this good thing. Reflecting on my good thing, this happened because I went to bed early last night. And getting 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep means I will be 100% focused today at work. So I should go to bed early every night to feel this great in the morning. I was able to get this great night of rest because I was not on my phone watching YouTube videos until 2 a.m. Now make sure you are comfortable with your good thing, so you can share it with a friend. Sharing your good thing with a friend or loved one allows you to spread your joy to others, as well as allowing the experience to live on. Now, let's see what you remember about this lesson. First, what was the skill we talked about? If you said hunt the good stuff, then you are 100% right. Next, what is it used for? We use this skill to notice positive experiences to enhance optimism, gratitude, and other positive emotions. Next, when do you use it? We use this skill on a regular basis in order to counteract the negativity bias. And finally, how do you use it? Well, that's easy. You write down 3 positive experiences from the day and write a one-sentence reflection about 1. Why this good thing happened. 2. What this good thing means to you. 3. What you can do to enable more of this good thing. And 4. What ways you or others contribute to this good thing. Now, let's talk about putting things into perspective as a resilient skill. Did you know that catastrophizing leads people to waste critical energy contemplating about the irrational worst-case outcomes of a situation? Catastrophizing creates elevated levels of anxiety, decreases focus, increases helplessness, and prevents people from taking purposeful action. This is where the skill, put it in perspective, comes into play by lowering your anxiety so that you can accurately assess a situation and deal with it. The primary objective of this skill is to stop catastrophic thinking, reduce anxiety, and improve problem solving by capturing the worst case thoughts, generating the best case thoughts, and identifying the most likely outcomes of a situation. Now, before I begin teaching you how to use the put it in perspective skill, it is important to recognize the different styles and effects of catastrophizing, as well as what triggers catastrophic thoughts. To learn more about these styles, let's watch a short video.
Welcome to Understanding Resilience, where we explain to you various resilience topics. I am your host, Max, and on today's segment, we will be discussing the 3 different styles of catastrophizing. These styles are the downward spiral, the scattershot, and circling. Joining us today to provide us with the explanation for each style, we have Miss Rose, Mr. Adams, and Mrs. London. Miss Rose, you're up first. Can you please explain to the audience what the downward spiral style of catastrophizing is?
First of all, thank you for having me on the show, Max. It is a great privilege. The downward spiral of catastrophizing is the most common style in my opinion. This is where an activating event occurs and your brain starts to tell a story that gets increasingly negative and improbable, causing you to get anxious as the story goes on. Your brain is kind of like a runaway train in a sense. I like to refer to this style as the downward spiral of doom.
I think we have a demonstration of this style. Let's take a look. Oh man, I can't believe my car broke down on the way to prom. If I don't have a car, I can't pick up my date. And if I can't pick up my date and take her to prom, I might develop low self-esteem. Yeah, and if I develop low self-esteem, I won't get into college because they don't like students with self-esteem issues. Wait, if I don't get a college degree, I won't get a good job and have a blissful career. Hold on. If I don't have a career, I won't have happiness. And if I'm not happy, I will be sad and alone for the rest of my life. Which means, if I'm sad and alone for the rest of my life, aliens might abduct me, and no one would even notice or care. I must admit, I myself fall victim to this style here and there, actually all the time. Now, let's take a look at the scattershot style with Mr. Adams.
The scattershot style is very straightforward, Max. This is where an activating event occurs, and you start to think about many disconnected catastrophic events. It's a lot like a shotgun effect. Your thoughts are scattered all over the place.
Interesting analogy, Mr. Adams. Let's take a look at our demonstration. Oh man, my car is busted and now I don't have a car to pick up my prom date. My life is meaningless. My dog ran away from home yesterday and now I don't have anyone to talk to. I failed my chemistry test last week, now I'll never get into college. I lost my favorite Star Wars shirt last night. I have a work interview in 2 days and I'm not even prepared for that. I bet you I'll fail and not even get a job. I'm probably adopted because nothing bad ever happens to my sister. Very interesting. Now, let us turn to Mrs. London with circling.
Thank you, Max. Circling in the style of catastrophizing where an activating event occurs and your thoughts about one bad outcome keep repeating. The thoughts do not necessarily get more negative, but they continue to occur repetitively. It is like being stuck on repeat. You just keep the same negative thoughts in your head, going round and round and round.
So it's like your favorite radio station playing the same disco song back to back? Huh, bummer. Let's take a look at our demonstration. I don't have a car to pick up my prom date. I'm gonna be the laughingstock of the school tomorrow. My friends will hate me, and they won't even want to hang around me anymore. No girl will ever want to go out with me because I drive an unreliable car. I can't believe I don't have a car to pick up my prom date. You know, I'm gonna be the laughingstock of the school tomorrow. My friends will hate me, and they won't want to be seen hanging around me anymore. No girl will ever want to go out with a guy like me. There you have it, folks. The 3 styles of catastrophizing. That's all the time we have for today. But join us next week when we talk about resilience versus perseverance. Until then, I am your host, Max, wishing you all a very good day.
Hey, wake up! We are almost done. Now, it is important to note that there is a difference between catastrophizing and planning for a worst-case scenario. Identifying the potential worst case and having a plan to deal with it, if it were to happen, is a positive, proactive approach for dealing with a potential problem. Catastrophizing is when you are stuck in your head and generating catastrophic thoughts, which is not helpful. Using the put it in perspective skill is especially important when you are depleted of energy, because that is when the tendency to catastrophize is at its greatest. Now that you know the 3 different styles of catastrophizing, it is important to know the triggers of catastrophic thoughts. For example, when you are run down or depleted of energy, you might start to create catastrophic thoughts. Now, there are many triggers, but here are a few that I have chosen to highlight. 1. The situation you are facing is ambiguous. 2. Something you value highly is at stake. 3. You fear the situation you are in. And 4. It is your first time doing something. Now that we understand how catastrophic thoughts work, let's learn how to put our catastrophic thoughts into perspective by using the Put It in Perspective worksheet. Here is an example of a Put It in Perspective worksheet. Let's take a minute to describe a recent, vivid, and meaningful activating event from the past week. For example, a recent activating event that occurred in the past week for me was I overslept by an hour and completely missed a very important work meeting. Now let's capture the craziest worst case scenario for this event. Missing my important work meeting means I will be fired, which in turn means I will lose my house because I have no income, which means my family will leave me, which ultimately means I will live a very sad and lonely life for the next 50 years. Now let's skip over to identifying the best case scenario. Everyone who attended the meeting I missed was yelled at by our senior director and fired on the spot. So, because I overslept and missed this very important meeting at work, I was not yelled at, nor was I fired. Since everyone who attended the meeting was terminated, I was promoted to senior manager for my department, and I was given a 20% pay increase. Now, let's think realistically by generating the most likely outcome. My manager asked why I missed the meeting. I told her I overslept, and she told me to set up a backup alarm and advised me to ensure I get enough rest before work and let me off with my very first warning. When you complete steps 1 through 4, it's time to develop a plan for dealing with the most likely outcome. Taking my manager's advice, I will ensure I get at least 7 hours of sleep prior to work. I will set up a backup alarm to ring 5 minutes after my primary alarm, and if I suspect I will be late in the future, I will advise my manager with as much advance notice as possible. Order is critical when filling out this worksheet. Start with number 1 and work towards number 5, and do not skip a section. The best method of filling in numbers 2 through 4 are by asking, and then what happens? Do this until you identify your worst case, best case, and most likely scenarios. Keep in mind that the Put It in Perspective skill is only used when someone is catastrophizing about a situation, not every time there is a problem. Also keep in mind that even if you do not catastrophize, this is an important skill to learn in case you catastrophize in the future, or when you are around others who are catastrophizing, so that you can help them lower their anxiety enough so that they are able to accurately assess the situation and create a plan to deal with it. Once more, let's see what you remember about this lesson. What is the skill we just talked about? That's right, it's Put It in Perspective. What is it used for? To stop catastrophic thoughts and deal with the most likely outcome. When do you use it? When you are making a mountain out of a molehill, or making a Himalaya out of a mountain? And how do you use it? 1. Describe the activating event. 2. Capture the worst case scenario. 3. Generate the best case scenario. 4. Identify the most likely outcome. And 5. Develop a plan for dealing with the most likely outcome. For our final topic of the day, I ask you, when counterproductive thoughts interfere with your ability to effectively engage with the task at hand, what do you do? You can use the skill Real-Time Resilience. This skill is used to lower anxiety and anger, and to enhance your attention and positive attitude. Typically, this skill is used when there is little time and you need to focus on the task at hand immediately. The primary objective of real-time resilience is to shut down counterproductive thinking to enable greater concentration and focus on the task at hand. Real-time resilience allows you to fight back against counterproductive thoughts with evidence, thinking optimistically, and putting the situation into perspective, allowing you to stay focused and motivated. Real-time resilience is an internal skill to get back into the game when counterproductive thoughts are interfering with the task at hand, and is used to lower anxiety, anger, or other strong emotions enough so that you can perform under tough circumstances. Think of the counterproductive thoughts as the little devil on your shoulder, filling your head with negativity, and the real-time resilience skill as the little angel on your shoulder, guiding you to stay focused and on the straight path. It is critical to note that real-time resilience is not a skill you use to argue back against others. Using the skill, or any resilience skill learned today, to argue against someone else would defeat the whole purpose of being resilient, wouldn't it? When using real-time resilience, try to use the following 3 strategies to help challenge your counterproductive thoughts: evidence, optimism, and put it in perspective. Try to use all 3 strategies to see which one works best for you. Also, don't be afraid to use a mixture of these strategies in order to achieve your goal of fighting back against your counterproductive thoughts. Now, let's head outside to view our demonstrations. Come on, follow me. Let's see a good demonstration of real-time resilience in action. Oh shoot! I forgot to get my fiancé flowers for Valentine's Day.
Your fiancé will be highly disappointed in you, and she may even call off the wedding.
It's still early in the day, and you don't see her for another 6 hours. Just go to the store and buy some roses.
By the time you get to the store, all the good roses will be sold out, and you will have nothing to buy.
If there are no roses to buy, make some out of construction paper and write cute messages on each petal about how much she means to you. Roses don't last forever, but memories do.
She will think you are lame. She won't want to be around a guy who can't do basic romantic deeds. Might as well get ready for the upcoming heartbreak.
She will love the time and effort you put into making the roses. She is not a fan of roses to begin with, and she loves cute and personal romantic deeds. So, she will be filled with joy when she sees your handmade flowers.
Now, let's see a bad demonstration of real-time resilience in action. Oops! I forgot to turn in my audit report at work. It was due yesterday.
You are most definitely going to be written up for missing such an important deadline.
You can still turn it in right now. It's only a day late, not that big of a deal.
Your manager is going to suspend you for a week because of your incompetence.
If you get suspended for a week, you will have time to take that vacation you always wanted.
Your senior manager does not like your performance and is going to dock your pay by 10% for the next 2 pay periods because of your poor time management.
It wasn't your fault you turned it in late. In fact, there was never a suspense date given to you in writing, so there is no proof it was due yesterday.
Your department director is going to terminate you because of your inability to turn in deliverables on time.
Losing your job isn't the end of the world.
What are some common mistakes that you noticed during the bad demonstration? You might have noticed 3 pitfall responses and 1 weak response. Pitfall responses are problematic because they keep us from challenging counterproductive thoughts. The 3 pitfall responses seen in the bad demonstration were 1. Dismissing the grain of truth, 2. Minimalizing the situation, 3. Rationalizing or excusing one's contribution to the problem. Weak responses are responses that are vague and lack concrete data. The weak response seen in the bad demonstration was a weak thought that could have been stronger by adding more specific information to the response. Remember, our responses are a part of us. That is to say, we feel the power of our responses in our bodies. So, when making a response, gut check your response to determine whether or not you are creating a pitfall or a weak response. Sometimes what may sound like a pitfall to others passes the gut check for the individual using the skill. Now that you have seen a demonstration of using real-time resilience, you can up your game by using the following 3 sentence starters as tools to effectively use the strategies of evidence, optimism, and put it in perspective. These sentence starters are, for evidence, that's not completely true because blank. Optimism, a more optimistic way of seeing this is blank. And put it in perspective. The most likely implication is blank, and I can blank. Now let's see these 3 sentence starters in action. Remember, these 3 sentence starters help structure your thinking so that you can craft effective real-time resilience responses. Oh man, my performance review for the past year puts me in the bottom end of my peer group, according to my annual evaluation. I really thought my performance was better.
Your department leaders do not think very highly of you.
That's not completely true, because your manager has recognized your hard efforts publicly in the past. Also, your senior leaders know how much work you put into your deliverables and even complimented your efforts last month.
A not-so-exceptional performance review means you will never be promoted.
A more optimistic way of seeing this is to see the performance review as constructive criticism. You can use this feedback to better your abilities and efforts for next year. This will allow you to earn that chance of getting a promotion based on your ability to navigate obstacles and make changes when needed.
This performance review means you will be terminated when the department needs to downsize.
The most likely implication is that you will not be terminated and you can still improve your learning and grow stronger in your abilities to produce exceptional results.
Are there any questions?
Quick question. Can you give us a few examples of when we should use real-time resilience?
Great question. A few examples of when to use real-time resilience would be when you just read an upsetting email from your manager on Friday before getting ready to go on a weekend getaway, or when you need to get some sleep, or when you experience road rage, also when you receive your annual performance review, or when your child comes home with a bad report card, or when you are about to brief an important presentation to your department's senior leadership and you have some self-doubts about your ability to brief. Remember these 4 key principles and you will be just fine. 1. Accuracy over speed. Focus on accuracy and passing your gut check, not the speed. 2. Practice. Practice makes perfect. Real-time resilience takes ongoing practice. It's okay if you don't get it right the first time, just keep practicing. 3. learning curve. Pitfall and weak responses are going to occur. They are common and are part of the learning process. Don't be afraid to run into them. Learn from these mistakes and push forward. And finally, number 4, do-over. When you hear yourself give a pitfall or a weak response, pause and generate a stronger response. Now, let's see what you remember. What is the skill we just talked about? That's right, it was real-time resilience. What is it used for? To shut down counterproductive thinking, build motivation, and focus on the task at hand. So when do you use it? When your thoughts are distracting you from an immediate goal or a task. And finally, how do you use it? Respond to your counterproductive thoughts in the heat of the moment by providing 1. Evidence against the thought, 2. A more optimistic way of seeing the thought, and 3. Putting the thought into perspective. I would like to thank everyone for their mandatory attendance for my presentation. Thank you so much for coming, and stay resilient.